Welcome. It's great to have you with us. My name is Kathy McPherson. I'm an instructional designer with the Florida Atlantic University Center for E-Learning. Joining me in the Jupiter campus is Dr. Douglas McGetchin. And down in Davie, we have Mary Rotundo.
Hi, everybody.
And over in our Boca campus, Dr. Judy Summers is there. She's hiding, I think. No, she's here. And so before we begin, make sure you please sign in so we have a record of your being with us today. And we're also going to use the link that's provided on Padlet for some interaction. Okay. Oh, yeah. Do I have power over this? Better. There we go. Okay, so our session today is about setting our students up for success in an online course. The first thing we want to do is to define student success in an online course, and we'll explore strategies that support student success. So if you wouldn't mind, please going to our Padlet, and log in there, and we're asking you your definition of student success. Okay, so we're going to exit it there. And then we'll type in the HTTP. And it was interesting to me when Dr. Bueller posed this question. I just had never really considered it. I had already had it defined in my head, and then I realized how many possibilities there are for success, depending on your perspective. So just enter over it.
I'm sure I got the right one.
Yeah, there you go. Okay. And Judy says when the students accomplish things. Oh, Meredith, great to have you. When you need them to accomplish. When students are transformed by their interactions with the content and other people in the class. Beautiful. Including both students learning the content and also engaging with classmates and the instructor in productive ways. Excellent. Great, thank you. From an administrator's point of view, success might be finishing your program on time within a certain amount of months. To a student's perspective, it might be being able to get a job using the content that they're studying. From a parent's perspective, it might be finishing quickly so that they can get those and getting a job also, but we're talking to instructors primarily today. Passing the course, yes. Expressing new appreciation for course material, beautiful. Writing a paper, yep. Getting those skills, great communication skills. And being comfortable contributing and being engaged. Beautiful. Thank you, everybody, so much for an awesome start. Go back to our presenting mode here. For our purposes today, we're going to define success as achievement of course level objectives through the achievement of module level objectives. I'm really glad you're here, so I don't have to talk to this thing. We're getting really specific about that. It's all about communication of the objectives and moving step by step through the objectives. What we need to do is lay a firm foundation. Now this foundation, it doesn't look pretty at all. This is not the final product, but it's so important to have a good foundation when you're doing construction of any kind of project. Starting out with objectives, measurable objectives. When we ask if they're measurable, we want to know, how am I going to know that the student has actually accomplished what they're supposed to be setting out to do? So our first instinct might be to say the objective is to understand XYZ, but that's not a measurable objective, because how will I know that they understand? And at the same time, we're looking at module level objectives. Are they measurable as well? Very, very important. Then we want to ask if they align. Do the course objectives and the module objectives align? Gus, I think I need to ask you to turn the microphone on, please. Thanks. By achieving each module level objective, is that going to help the student to achieve those course level objectives? I'm working with a couple of different computers here. Assessments. Again, do the assessments line up? Do the assessments actually measure what I want my students to be able to do? It's just so important when you talk about an actual building. The measurement needs to be pretty accurate, and everything does need to line up pretty accurately too. Okay, lesson content. Whoops, I don't want too far. Or did I? Uh-oh, why am I moving wrong? Okay, lesson content. In South Florida, you very rarely see a wooden house. And I come from New England, where we love wooden houses. They're absolutely beautiful. And you can't build a wooden, or Gus, I need to turn the microphone on, please. Thank you. Getting that feedback. Great, thank you. Yeah, you can't, my mom actually built a massive, huge, beautiful wooden house in Florida, but they had to move after just 10 years because things were starting to rot. In South Florida, it's too humid. It doesn't hold up. So you really need to make sure that your lesson content supports the objectives. At the set, why does this keep switching? At the Center for E-Learning, we have a thing called a blueprint, where we actually lay out ahead of time what the course level objectives are, what the module level objectives are, and how they align with the course level objectives. We make sure that the assessments line up with each module objective, and then we make sure that every piece of content that's being used aligns with the assessments and the module objectives. If there's something in there that doesn't line up with the objectives for the module or for the course, then we need to ask ourselves why we want to include that. And if there's an objective that isn't getting met, we need to figure out how we make sure that we get there. Okay. Space. All right, any questions so far? Objectives? Objections? No? Okay. In my head while I was working on this, I thought people were going to say, but that's so boring, that's no fun. I need to make sure that my students have fun in the class. I want them to like the content. They will. That's how we're going to get to here. Our next thing is procedures and expectations. And I really like this picture because this guy is building something really cool. He's obviously got a lot of skill. But my question is, like, what measure has he taken to ensure his own success? Is he alone? No, clearly someone is below him, making sure that everything is, there's somebody operating the lift, right? Does he know what the procedures are? Does he know how to get help if he needs it? He better, because if the procedures aren't followed, if they're not in place from the beginning and very clearly communicated, the results might be disastrous for him. But if they are clearly laid out, then he can be successful. And that's what we want. Okay, so now we get to the fun part. It's really exciting to see a new house start to get its walls and its roof and start to take shape. And that's what happens after we've finished our blueprint. We can start, really seeing how a course is going to take shape. I'm going to stop my construction metaphor here, and we're going to move on to speaking plainly about online courses. So it's really important, whether you realize it or not, whether it's a face-to-face course or an online course, the instructor really sets the tone for the entire course. If you're excited about your content, if you're enthusiastic about getting to know the students and building them up, your students will know from the very beginning. If you've been doing this for 100 years and you're just waiting to retire and you could care less, they definitely know that too. And we all have experienced that from the student perspective, one way or the other. But this is very encouraging because anybody who's here today is clearly excited about their content and presenting their work online. Your content is so exciting. It's fascinating. It can add value to the life of your students. I mean, obviously it does, or you would not have made it your life's work, right? You're really excited about what this has to offer. And so we need to share ways to actually show the students how exciting it is. Okay, we've talked about learner-to-learner interaction, another huge part of motivating students, getting them to interact with the content, and we've got lots of different ways to do that. And we're gonna open it up a little bit and just laying this out as like, here are the elements of an important course. Important elements for success for your students. Okay, now we're going to go back to our Padlet, and we'll start talking about specific strategies for supporting student success in the online course. And we can do it as a Padlet, but since we have a small number of people here, we could open it up as a discussion as well. Whoops, this thing wants to move around. In here. Go back to our Padlet. All right. So part 2 of our Padlet is strategies, sharing your strategies for success. And this can be, we see that Judy says that the students are actively involved. Can we unmute Judy, and maybe you could talk a little bit about how to get them actively involved? I know you just did a whole seminar about it last week, 2 weeks ago.
This one is. Hi, Kath.
Hi.
Actively involved to me means when they are, there's something in the content that is compelling and that they are interested in it, and they're sharing information back and forth. They're thinking about what they're doing and how it connects to what they need to get out of the course, besides the almighty A.
Right. So bringing in those higher order questions. You're a fan of project-based learning, correct?
Yeah, absolutely.
Great, thank you so much. Let's see here. Mary, if you're with us, can you maybe share a little bit about strategies that some of your favorite strategies for success for students online?
Gus?
Mary, we can hear you.
Oh, okay. Well, I feel that first and foremost, teacher presence. Teacher presence is absolutely essential in the online course. And the reasons are obvious. On a face-to-face class, they see you, they see your body language, they see, they can ask you questions right then and there. you have to create those opportunities by your constant teacher presence in the classroom. So to me, that's probably number one. And then I would say relatable content that sounds updated and relevant to their interests and their lives. Student interaction, definitely very, very important. And then you said something that that really struck chord with me. You said what this has to offer. So maybe making it clear for them that there's something they will take away with them. So what's in it for me as a student? That needs to be plainly visible for them.
Thanks, Mary. That was definitely one of the things that we thought about in preparing today's session is relevance. You know, how does any topic relate to the student? Dr. McPherson is a peace studies professor, and I mean, making it relevant doesn't have to be difficult, certainly. But you also, it's been amazing watching the ability to connect ancient peace studies, even ancient Greece and, you know, early caveman, and how were they peaceful or were they warlike? You know, amazing. It just really depends on the professor, the instructor saying, I'm going to show you just how totally relevant this is to today and to your life. And I think technology is now giving us the ability in a new way to add the senses to those things as well. Dr. Summers and I were at a conference a couple of weeks ago, or last month, where they showed us virtual reality, and students can take a walk on the Great Wall of China. You know, all of a sudden you're able to be transported to that place, and when you see China in the news, you're like, you know, it becomes relatable for sure. Skills that we can use, and you talked about building writing skills. Certainly, you know, hopefully students can see that that's definitely relatable to future goals and present ones. I didn't see where we were. Did you want to say?
So strategies for success. I like discussions in face-to-face. So I am doing the group, the module 4, the group thing. So maybe having some sort of breakout sessions or getting them to interact with each other. Probably it's easier if they're in a smaller group in the online than in having 30 students. Have like groups of 5 or something.
I would say so. Does anybody want to speak to the small groups strategies? Okay, I'll take care of it. So yeah, the smaller group, you know, 6 would be probably the max. 2, 3, 4 is really better in my opinion. Because you've got to get people to, they don't have a face-to-face class time that they can come together. So they have to schedule themselves outside of class when they can collaborate things. And when you're trying to meet deadlines and get to know each other, certainly having fewer people to interact with makes it easier to do. And accessibility, it depends on the project too, what you're asking them to do. I've had professors work with just, they partner students up so that they have another person to interact with. And it's not a matter of being comfortable with the technology. Students are generally pretty good at FaceTiming each other and meeting with each other on Google Hangouts and things like that. But it's the management of what to do it, how, when will it get done, that sort of thing. Okay, Meredith, Gus, did Meredith, let's see. Whoops. Feels similar to face-to-face. Projects, interactive work. Yep. No. Getting your hands dirty, getting active in there. Mm-hmm. One of the things that I really, do we have a chat? Oh, okay. Mary, did you get to say what you want to say? Okay, guys, we need to unmute.
Okay, so about that small group strategy, I always say this, I love having a moderator for that assignment. And then throughout the course, you change the moderator, but you give that student the opportunity to not only guide the discussion, but to summarize anything that's happening. And that person will be able to identify any patterns that are emerging or guide the discussion in really unpredictable ways, because he's also a student, you're not a student. So in the end, by having a student moderator, your group will be a lot better than if you as a teacher, because you know your content, but you don't know how they will treat your content if you give them the opportunity to moderate the discussion. So very useful. It gets really messy and your students get really involved. Know that at some point they will be given the chance to moderate their very own discussion.
That's awesome. I like that. And it's not at all scary that they get messy and.
They love it. They love it. They feel empowered and they have a real sense of ownership on that specific moderating.
Now, do you have them stay in the same group throughout the course? Yes. And do you have guidelines for the moderators? And
Yeah.
And I'm sure that you included that when you did the group projects workshop. Okay.
Yeah, we talked about it. Yes.
You can get onto YouTube and look that up for further.
Yeah, that always pops up because I feel is a really
Kathy,
Yes, ma'am.
Meredith said that she cannot unmute, but she says that getting the students to apply the knowledge and try the material out.
Thank you. Thank you, Meredith. Definitely agree. And I also think we want to remember instructor feedback, the ability to give that one-on-one attention to students in an online course is a really special thing. To be able to give that individual feedback on the project that they've done and be able to maybe correct a little bit or to challenge further, that's differentiation, and it's a really great practice. Also motivating. Some of the online tools are in Canvas. We've got Canva badges, which I just love. It's a little visual thing. When you accomplish a goal, you get a badge, like you used to get in Boy Scouts, or but it's virtual, and that's very, very motivating. People want the badge, they want the certificate, they want the good grade, but there's also just the positive word and positive reinforcement for having done a good job. And being able to say specifically, I did this specific thing well. I mastered my goals. I'm trying to control things. Okay. So wonderful. We are actually we're doing a, oops. Okay, so to wrap up, we're doing a really short presentation today, but I think we've hit some good stuff in the meantime. So how are we defining success in our online course? We're calling it achievement of the course objectives. And we need to really start with clear, excellent, measurable course objectives. And then we're also aligning our module level objectives with that. And then how can we set our students up for success? We're laying that firm foundation, planning it all out, and making sure that everything is relevant to the achievement of our course objectives. We're setting the tone for success. We're coming in with a really positive, excited, enthusiastic attitude, which certainly doesn't need to be cheerleader style. It can certainly be quiet, intellectual, serious, but still, I believe in you. I have set you up for success. If you follow the directions, you can get an A, and you can apply it, and it will make a difference in your life. And then applying just multiple strategies. We've got a ton of resources available at the Center for E-Learning in terms of how do I connect to my students? How do I build a good discussion in my class? This whole community of practice is available for providing resources and ideas. And this is just some research data that shows, we always like to use data, research articles, that I thought this one was interesting. It said that successful students reported that they use self-regulated learning strategies in their online course. And I thought that was really relevant because if I set it up so that it's possible for you to self-regulate, and that makes it possible for you to succeed, then that foundation is just a really important thing. And then the other articles show that 3 general factors, clarity of design, interaction with the instructors, and active discussion among the course participants, which is what everybody here talked about today, significantly influenced the student satisfaction and perceived learning. Actually more so than their grades. So that was interesting too. Our upcoming sessions are this coming Friday. We have a Canvas mission migration, which is it's open lab on all 3 campuses. All day you can come on in and get any help you want with your migration to Canvas. On Monday, we will have a workshop on peer review, which is more of that learner-to-learner interaction, and it's getting involved with the content, going a little deeper. And then on that Friday is a holiday as well. And then on Monday the 28th is a session on metacognition, getting students to think about what they're doing and understand what they're thinking about and be aware of the thinking. Your time is the most valuable thing that you have, and so thank you for spending it with us this afternoon, and we hope to see you again soon. Thanks, everybody.